You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. What up, everybody? Good day to you all. I'm Al Mega, your host of the Comic Crusaders podcast and CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. Welcome, one and all. Appreciate you having time today, because today we're hanging out with an awesome animator. Yes, folks, an animator. That's right. This person has worked on Iron Giant, Prince of Egypt, The Simpsons, but he has a dope comic out right now. I mean, it's beautiful art. This is fire. We're going to learn all about Steamroller Man. And who am I talking about? It's creator, the one and only, Matt Schofield. What's poppin'?
Hey, how are you? I'm good. How are you, Al?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for waking up bright and early to talk to us today. I'll try to keep my energy low so that way I don't rattle your mind and give you a midday headache.
No, I think it's good. It'll help me wake up, because I only just woke up like an hour ago. So
there we go. Matt, thanks for coming on. And before we even continue, thank you, man. I've seen you worked on some of my favorite episodes of The Simpsons, actually. So I was like, ooh, this is cool, man. So good stuff on that. And Iron Giant, man, you laid a hand on that. Fantastic. And now you're laying your hands on an awesome comic book, Steamroller Man. But before we get into all that, I need to know, what are the origins of your nerddom?
I started reading comics when I was probably 5 years old. I started seriously collecting comics when I went on a family vacation when I was about 13, and I went to a little newsstand and found an issue of West Coast Avengers and Uncanny X-Men, and from there it was I just kind of fell in love with comics, and I've been reading them and collecting them ever since. So
nice. Well, was it something you decided to pick up, or who brought it, or someone brought it home for you?
It was my choice. The first comic that I ever owned was The Man Called Nova from Marvel Comics. I think that was like issue 24. Nice. My dad bought that for me, but I picked it out off the rack. And
so you were a Marvel man bright and early, weren't you?
Yes. But I also love DC. I love the DC stable of characters. I think they've got one of the deepest bench in comics. There's so many characters in that history. So yeah.
What was your first DC like that you picked up? You're like, okay, this seems interesting.
First DC thing that I can remember was there was, you can probably tell from my accent, I'm from Australia, and in Australia at that time there were collections published. It wasn't like the direct like the actual DC and Marvel comics. They would repackage a bunch of comics into like a big thick kind of compendium collection. And there was a Superman family collection it reprinted about 30 different stories from all through the history of Superman, and it had Superboy and Supergirl and Jimmy Olsen stories. And so that was the first DC thing that I remember having. And I also loved the Batman TV show was in reruns when I was a kid. Yeah. So I would watch that every afternoon when I got home from school when I was really little, and I fell in love with that. That show is actually a big influence on Steamroller Man and the type of humor that I try and put in there.
Sure. It's not fast forward humor, because I know my boy Dodgy from Australia as well shows me the Batman thing that they did in the fast forward program in Australia. Really funny.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. I did watch Fast Forward when I was a kid, but I don't remember that particular sketch.
Yo, you got to see it. They're making fun of the whole, Adam West Batman stuff. Oh my God!
I'll look it up.
Yeah, he showed me this
on YouTube or somewhere.
It is. He showed me this weekend on the Year Now Wepa show, and I was having a blast. It's horrible, but it's so funny.
I'll check it out. That sounds interesting.
Great. So let's talk about how you started your own journey into animation, man, because you've landed on some pretty cool quality projects. So, where did that all come about? I mean, where did you study? How did you even get into it?
Well, I wanted to, because of the comic thing, I wanted to become a comic artist when I was a kid. that's what I wanted to do. But I had no idea back then, growing up in Australia, like how would I even become a comic book artist? To work for Marvel and DC, that was my dream. So there was an art college in my hometown that had an animation course, and so that was kind of the closest thing that I could find when I got out of high school to do like a college course somewhat related to comics.
Okay.
And so I applied for that and I got in. And then during that course, that's when I learned more about animation, and I decided, oh no, this is actually pretty cool. I like making drawings move and being able to make a two-dimensional drawing create an emotional response in the viewer. I thought that was just magical,
Awesome.
So that's how I kind of fell in love with animation. And I got into the animation industry. The time that I got out of college was just after Lion King came out.
Okay.
And so at that time, there was a huge boom in animation. Warner Brothers set up their own animation studio, and Fox set up theirs. And there was Turner Animation, which that was the first place that I worked over here. So, yeah, I kind of applied to all the studios over here, and I just, being from Australia, I wasn't picky. I just took the first job offer that I got, which was to be an in-betweener on the movie Cats Don't Dance, which was made by Turner Feature Animation. And from there, I worked on Quest for Camelot, and then Iron Giant, and then Prince of Egypt. And then after Prince of Egypt, I decided that I wanted to try something different. And so then I applied to get on to The Simpsons as a character layout artist. And I've been on The Simpsons ever since. So
wow.
I've done a lot of stuff on The Simpsons. I think I've been on the show about 20 years now. So I've done, been an animator on the show. I've done character designs. I've done animation timing. I've done storyboards. I was an assistant director and a director, and now I'm the supervising storyboard director on the show.
Oh, wow. Congrats. Look at that rise and journey. Awesome, kiddo. That's great. And what's your favorite character when you first started to draw on The Simpsons?
I really love drawing Mo. His face it's so pliable, and he makes so many kind of ugly expressions that you can kind of really make it go, really warped, but he will still look right, on model. So yeah, he's really fun to draw, and he's such a sad sack kind of character, so I always enjoy the storylines that they do with Mo.
But he's a dirty dude. I mean, anytime he thinks homie's dead, he's trying to step in on Marge. You know what I mean? Yes. It's like, you grimy, son. That's your boy's wife, widow, not even 2 seconds ago. You grimy.
That's part of the funny part of his character. I love it.
Yeah, he's just a grimy dude. All right, so let's get into the journey of comics. I mean, so you've been working on animation, like you said, you've been with the Simpsons family for 20 years. So when did the origins of Steamroller Man come about? When did that start tickling in your brain that you decided, let me put this on paper and see what happens?
That was about 2016. I have 2 kids, and when they were younger, we would, my wife and I are both comic book geeks, and so
your wife's a comic geek too.
Yeah.
Hey,
I actually found one. I found a girl who's into comics. So our family is very geeky, nice. And our kids kind of grew up with superheroes and comics and all that stuff kind of all around them. And so we were having a conversation one night over the dinner table about what would be cool superhero names. And my youngest son said, how about Steamroller Man? And that immediately a vision of what the character looks like with the big steamroller head popped into my head. And so I drew a really rough sketch on a napkin, and I showed it to him, and I said, yeah, it looked kind of like this. And he looked at it and he was like, no, not like that. I meant steamrollers for hands.
Oh,
And so
okay.
I was like, oh, okay, well, that can be your version of Steamroller Man, and this will be my version of Steamroller Man with the steamroller head. And so that kind of sat in my brain. And then I took the kids to a local, our local library had a summer vacation how to make comics workshop.
Oh, that's cool.
So I took the kids to that. This was like a year later, and they actually provided pens and papers to the kids to, let them make comics. And so I was like, yeah, come on guys, let's do this. And so I was doing it with them, and the idea was, yeah, just do like a short little story. And so I started drawing the first Steamroller Man story, which is on my website. It's the one where the cat's stuck in the tree. So that was the beginning of Steamroller Man, because the guy running the class was like, yeah, it can be anything, just to, just come up with a story, just something simple. And so I still had Steamroller Man in the back of my mind, and I thought, oh, I'm going to do that Steamroller Man character. And so that's where it all started. And yeah, I just started doing it as like a kind of a cool down kind of exercise after I finished working each day, just to sort of draw something for myself. Because animation, you spend 8 to 10 hours a day drawing other people's characters, so I wanted to just do something for myself, so
Something
so
fun
that's
with,
where it began.
less people telling you what to do on it too. Right?
Yeah,
Something yours.
it's all my own thing. I can do whatever I want with it. So yeah, I love that aspect of it.
You know what? And I want to start sharing with people. You sent me a few images, so I want to go ahead and share some of that goodness. Sure. Actually, did I pick the right one? No, I didn't. Hold on. Don't you love technology, folks? Hold on. Stop that one. Got to move over because I have it all set for us already. Right? So there we go. There we go. There goes the OG right there himself.
Mm-hmm.
And boom, Steamroller Man, the sinister sweetness of Sugar Daddy and Gingerbread Golem.
That's it.
What? Explain this universe. I mean, how soon did it take you to create the universe and these names? The sinister sweetness. I love that. That sounds so 70s.
It's supposed to.
Love
I'm
it.
really, because that's,
you got it.
I was a kid at the end of the 70s, so this is sort of very nostalgia fueled for me. Like this is what comics looked like when I was first starting to get into comics, and so this is the flavor that I want to give to Steamroller Man. And so I kind of designed the covers to look like the old Marvel comic style with the band across the top and the corner box. Yeah. So I try and give it a little bit of that flourish. Sugar Daddy is like a kind of like if Willy Wonka was evil.
Oh, damn. Love it.
And the original idea came from first it started with the gingerbread golem. Like that was again another conversation with my kids about like what if there was a character like the Thing, but he was a cookie and we called him Tough Cookie. And so I then started to think, oh, what if it was a golem, because there's the folklore, the Hebrew folklore of building a golem out of clay and bringing them to life with a word of power. And so I just kind of based it on that kind of folklore. But what if it was gingerbread and his word of power was one of those heart candies with the message on them.
Oh, okay.
So he has a heart candy in his chest that says obey, and that's what Sugar Daddy put on his chest. Sugar Daddy is what I call a candy mancer, which is the art of occult confectionery. So it's
I
all
love it.
sorts of, I mean, it's just all the stuff that I've read over the years is just mashing around in my brain, and I just put it into Steamroller Man. So
This is great. I really love the whole concept. It sounds funny. And look at the art, dude. Do you handle all duties, art, lettering, art? You know, are you
everything.
the one man team?
I'm the one-man team. I do
Wow.
everything. It was a definite process of learning as I've gone along. I feel like my art has definitely gotten better as I've progressed. This is one of the earlier pages, but this is supposed to be like one of those, getting ready montage kind of things.
Bro, the style of his glasses is hysterical. Jeez. And,
Yeah.
God damn. Look at him. Wow. I love the art style, bro. You are
Oh, thanks.
smashing it, bro. Look at
Thank
and just
you.
even the detail with the rebar and all, you know what I mean? Very
Yeah,
well.
this was a fun one to do.
I like see this is a poster. This looks great.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
this is the
cool.
print?
I don't
Uh,
have anything as prints yet. I am planning to print copies of the comic coming up towards the end of this year.
Okay.
So I'm just at the moment I'm going back and I'm on a little hiatus from posting new pages on the website, and so I'm using that time to kind of remaster a few of the earlier pages and redraw stuff that I think I can do a little bit better now. So
I love it. Let's roll. I find that funny as fuck. But him being the
awesome.
Steamroller Man, yeah. All right. There goes the heart that says obey. Okay.
Yep.
I got it. So is this golem unbreakable, even though he's made of gingerbread?
Yeah, he's pretty tough. He's
Okay.
pretty tough.
So he is a tough cookie.
He is a tough cookie. Exactly.
I love that whole concept. Your kids are awesome. I can't imagine you guys dinner table. It must be very fun.
It is fun. It is fun.
Hey, explain this cover. What's going on here? This is dope.
So this is the lady in the upper right corner. Her name is Page One, and she is a scientist, a biochemist, and she works at a lab called EcoOpt Laboratories. Sugar Daddy and Tough Cookie break into that lab because they need an algae sample for their nefarious master plan, which is going to come to light in the next issue, which I'll be starting in the next month or so. So I don't want to spoil the details of what the actual plan is that Sugar Daddy has, but it gets pretty crazy. But yeah, so this is there was in the EcoOpt laboratory, I kind of used as just an all-purpose, science lab. So it's got all sorts of crazy research and stuff. And there was a dimensional vortex in the science lab that they were kind of holding open this gateway to another dimension with this field called, and this device called the Simple Plot device, which is a pun on simple plot device. And so through the course of the story, Steamroller Man is a character who wants to do the right thing, but he ends up just bashing through. His power is destroying things, and so he's kind of like a bull in a china shop, and he often ends up doing more harm than good. And so in that particular story that cover is from, he smashes the device that's holding the dimensional gateway open, and it starts sucking everything into the lab, everything in from the lab, and the building eventually implodes. This page that you've got on screen now is when he's helping Paige escape from the lab before it implodes.
Good look on this. What tools are you using here?
I use this is all done digitally.
Okay.
I use a software called Clip Studio Paint, which they have two versions of that, and there's Pro, which is the sort of more basic version, and EX, which is the full version. EX has the functionality to do like multiple comic pages, so you can basically create an entire issue of a comic in Clip Studio Paint, and it'll keep track of like your pages and all that and how it's all laid out. So yeah, I use Clip Studio Paint. It's a great software
Nice.
for drawing in. The inking tools especially really feel like traditional ink pens.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was looking at. It looks fantastic. I mean, just
thank
little
you.
details. This is why I needed to.
Thanks.
That's why I inquired. It looks really good.
Thank
Really
you.
good. Look at this old school. This is like definitely like a 70s scene. I've been watching too many 70s movies on Pluto TV recently.
Yeah.
You know, like this is what I'm watching again here. I love it. I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
Awesome. Thanks.
Okay. Oh God, there's another. Oh God, and I'm concerned. Fear not, citizens. Justice never sleeps. And who is this?
So at this part of the story, another superhero arrives. This was kind of like my Batman analog kind of character because, you know, everybody seems to do like their version of Batman and Robin. So this is my version. He's called Night Knight and his sidekick is Sleep Tyke. So it's Night Knight and Sleep Tyke. And they're a father and son. But basically they just run around the city in their pajamas. Night Knight wears a pillow over his head and his cape is a blanket. And Sleep Tyke just wears like footy pajamas and one of those, you know, kids' towels that have the hood on them. So he wears one of those. And yeah, they don't have any powers. They're just like really into running around the city, fighting crime. They're a little
trying to stay
delusional.
Yeah. Trying to stay healthy and delusional.
Exactly. Yes.
I love again the art. It looks great, dude. I mean, you have a great hand. So what are we going to get a collected edition of these bad boys or what?
Yeah, eventually. What my plan is to publish each chapter. I do it as a webcomic at the moment, but each chapter of the webcomic is formatted like a print comic. Okay. So I've always had the plan to put these into print. So at first I'm going to do individual issues. This current Steamroller Man versus Sugar Daddy story is going to be 4 issues long. And then once I finish the 4 issues, I'm going to do a collected trade paperback.
Nice. So, do you know what platform you're going to use in order to make that happen?
I don't yet. I've thought about crowdfunding. To be honest, it's a little intimidating to me right now. I haven't done all the research that I need to do yet, but just from the initial kind of view of it, it seems like, oh, that seems like a lot of work. But I think it seems like the benefit of it is you can build an audience through something like Kickstarter, which would be awesome. The other option is to do just like a print on demand type thing, where like there's a website called Indie Planet. Thinking of maybe going through that. So yeah, I'm still kind of working out the details of which way to go. So
definitely. Well, listen, I'll be happy so long as we get it in print because I am a print man. So if I could hold that book, I'll be more than happy. Oh, you say you're a print man? Really? All right. So what's the gem of your collection?
Okay. I have recently got into the oversized Marvel Treasury editions from the 70s. And I managed to get the Jack Kirby's adaptation of the movie 2001 A Space Odyssey, which I had always wanted, and I'd been looking for it. Every time I'd go to a comic convention, I would go to the back issue comic dealers and I'd say, do you have this? And they'd say, oh man, you just missed it. I sold one like this morning. You just
missed it.
And it's like, come on. So I eventually just went through eBay. I found one on eBay and it's awesome. I love that oversized format and I'm a huge Jack Kirby fan. So yeah, that's probably one of the gems of my collection.
I actually have the first issue of that
Oh, you
series of the
do?
Treasury. Yeah, the Spider-Man one.
Oh,
Yes,
nice.
I got that bad boy. The one I really, really want are the 2 Conan ones because those are a little tough. Those are a little tough to get, apparently.
I bet.
Yeah, and like you, I'm a con hunter. I could go to eBay, sure, but I don't like the easy way.
No, that's one of the things I prefer doing at comic conventions is just thumbing through, going
Right?
through back
Sifting through
issue
the
bins.
boxes
Oh,
like a
it's great.
nutcase. And
Yeah,
then,
no, I love
bring
it.
people, this is my space. Get out of here.
Yep.
Wait a minute.
Yep.
Because I hate
love
those people as they're going through the box. Like, wait a minute, excuse me. Can you go back for a second? I'm in this box. You wait a minute. Then I go back anyway. Like, what did I miss?
Exactly. Exactly.
How dare you? I
And
love
then
it.
you do the thing where it's like, oh, do you want to switch? Because the guy beside you is in that box and you're in this box, and you're like, oh, switch over. So
we've done that.
Switch places.
I've got with my friend, and that's kind of what we do. We go like that, and this is how we kind of navigate the whole area. We switch back and forth. But it was funny that when we used to go to a certain convention in the Northeast, there was an individual that I swear he kind of knew that we knew how to pick gems, and he would follow us. Literally. And my boy is like, why is this guy always following us? And no matter what table, he's like, look, he's right next to us. I'm like, oh, wow. We move again.
Awesome.
Again, he's there. I'm like, this guy, what is he doing? He's trying to figure out what we're getting. You dirty bastard. Get away from
him. He knew you guys had the sort of, you were like bloodhounds on the trail.
Listen, I was finding those early Valiant first appearances for 50 cents, $1. I found many Kirby gems for $1. I mean, you wouldn't believe that, maybe about 10 years ago, before the Kirby got even crazier. I was at a convention and I got New Guys #1, Miracle Man, Mr. Miracle #1, Commandy, Forever People #1, and it was the whole part of the fourth world, all the #1s. Yeah. You know how much I had paid this dude? $15.
Really?
Yep, and they were very fine, very fine.
Wow. Yeah, you can't even find that stuff anymore. Like, no. I know what you're saying. Like 10 years ago, there was a time when you could find all that 70s
in a box.
Stuff. Yeah, just in the dollar boxes. It was awesome. And dude, now there's none of that in the dollar boxes.
I bought a whole Sal Buscema Hulk run, each for 50 cents.
Oh, nice.
I mean, the dude at the convention said, "Oh, I know what you're getting there. That's value." I'm like, I know, I am. Yep. And again, but those days are over because I saw him again just maybe 3 years ago, and I was sifting through his boxes. I'm like, wow, it's not the same anymore. He goes, nope. No, he goes, now we take out the gems.
Yeah, it's weird how the kind of back issue market has totally changed now. It's interesting, but.
Definitely.
I miss the days when you could still find those, those gems for $1.
I remember just passing by a box in New York, the Big Apple Comic Con. I walked by a box. I was with my boy, right? And I saw this guy had like 70s books, bronze books. So I just randomly go like this, pick up a box as I'm walking by. Dude, it's the first appearance of Power Girl for $5.
Nice.
I'm like, here you go. And my boy's like, no effing way. I'm like, yes, way. Again, and I made pretty good money after the fact because, again, comics, I also sell them.
Oh, cool.
So, I go back and forth. It's great. I just keep my Conans and my Spawns. Those are my White Tigers and my Deathlock and my Death Heads.
Oh, yeah, I love Deathlock. That's
I love
appearance. Like Marvel Comics from the 70s had so much crazy stuff going on. Like they had the Ghost Rider and Son of Satan kind of all the horror influence stuff. But
the Tomb of Dracula.
Yeah, but then they had Master of Kung Fu and
then the magazine, the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. Yes. Yeah, the Savage Swords. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was a great time, I think, in comics.
Yeah. I agree.
How about you make Steamroller Man as a magazine or a treasury when it comes out?
That's a cool idea. I haven't thought of that, but yeah, that's a cool idea.
I would buy a Steamroller Man Treasury Edition. Hell yeah, son.
That would be fun.
Like if you would do it on a crowdfunding, that could be one of the perks. Like if you pay X months, we do, maybe just 10 of them, super limited.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, dude.
I'll think about that. I had not. I got to be honest with you. That hadn't even crossed my mind. But that's a really cool idea.
I figure use what you love, right? So if you love Treasury, hey, maybe introduce Steamroller as a Treasury. That would be dope. I don't think no one's done anything like that. That would be fire.
Cool.
I love it. Okay, so one last thing is, if there's anything you could do with Steamroller Man outside of a comic, would you love to bring it maybe to animation or live action, if the possibility ever came?
Yeah, I'd love to do it as an animated show. I think, that could really be fun. I think it's interesting. I kind of designed the character, his head is on a cylinder, but I draw his face sort of like it's flat, like not on a cylinder. So it's a visual cheat, which I think might be difficult to translate to an actual live action thing. But if it's hand-drawn animation, you can still get that visual cheat, and it can look a lot like he does in the comics. So yeah, I would really love if it eventually ended up as an animated show. That'd be really fun.
Especially with the style in which you draw, though, because that also brings me back to those Ren and Stimpy days when they would show those specifically close-up scenes. I love that style of art. Love it.
Yeah.
And yours kind of reminds me of that. So if you can keep it in that format, it's like, bro, you got something special here. And folks, you guys don't believe me? Check it out. You have all the social links. Go to his Linktree. Just look up Steamroller Man on Linktree. Or visit the website. Make it easy for yourself. Steamrollerman.com. I mean, it's great. It's also like a family project, which is fire. I love that you involve your kids in this. So kudos to the Schofield kids. Yeah, killing it with those ideas. I love the whole idea of the tough cookie.
Thank you.
It's some small ideas, but they're cute, but they're like cool. Like, okay, you know what? Makes sense. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. All right, so is there any other places we should visit other than just steamrollerman.com or just your Linktree?
If you go to my Linktree, that has my Twitter and my Instagram and the Steamroller Man Facebook page. So you can find it all at the Linktree.
Come on, folks.
Steamrollerman.com.
Yeah, push them to do the crowdfunding or something. Yeah, we got to bring this to life. I want print copies. I want posters. I want that iconic poster of him there. I want that as the poster. It was fire.
Cool.
Come on, man. Yeah, bro. Let's build this. Steamroller Man all the way. I love it. Yeah, that's right. So, folks, thanks for tuning in and hanging out. Matt and I, the amazing Matt Schofield. Can't wait to see what else you do with Steamroller Man and the future of it. Definitely would love to see a cartoon, but I definitely want it in print in my hands as a treasury. All right.
Well, I will do my best, Al. It's been great talking to you. Thank you for having me on the show. And stay tuned for the print edition of Steamroller Man.
That's right, folks. Stay tuned. The outro tells you what to do, with the exception of, please make sure to visit our comic book shop, comiccrusaders.shop, and our swag store, comiccrusaders.us. And of course, follow everything Steamroller Man on the socials, folks, and stay tuned for the rest. Hasta la próxima, mi gente. Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.com and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.